Hello all, welcome to Know Mam YouTube channel, where we empower individuals with knowledge on a variety topics. Today, we are going to deep dive in the world of Docker, and we couldn't be more excited to share our knowledge with you. Today, I have my dearest friend as a guest with us. When I say my dearest friend, I need to describe him. How can I describe him? Well, he's a community person. More than that, coffee lover. He is active in almost all meetups, whether it is cloud, security, AI, ML, anything. If you go to any quality meetup, you can find my friend there. So whether it is not only related to these kind of technologies, everything you can get it. So today, whether you are a beginner or just starting off, getting into DevOps environment, whatever, if you just wanted to learn Docker, this session is very much helpful for you. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get started with this exciting journey to learn about Docker from my friend Vishwas Narayan. So I'll hand over this to him. He'll take over from there. Vishwas.
Sure. Thank you so much, Koti. I think the tiny.cc link that you're just seeing there, I think there, yes, there is actually the slides that you can go. It's just tiny.cc, CNTR, CADE, VNR. If you just type it, you will just go to that slide deck which I have created. And also, this is always an introduction. So, the complexity of DevOps always started with one of the sliders that I had. I think I can just go back and just copy it and I paste it, but I'll just show you what it is because I have done so many slides, so don't worry about it. Oh, all
Yes.
right. I have to share screen, window, entire screen. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and share the screen. So this is the slide that I've given. So it has a lot of content in it, but I think let's go to cloud. I think I had something as a cloud or something, whatever it is. Like, let's go ahead and grab the other account so that we don't have much of a hassle here. So cloud computing today. So I just will give you a brief introduction about what it is all about when you're dealing with cloud computing and complexity. Then we can go to the concept of containers, Kubernetes, which is always an prerequisite through a container itself. So, like, if you want to learn anything on Kubernetes, you should know everything and anything about a container. Like, it's an expectation, but it's impossible even from the beginner stage or to the advanced stage. So, I'm a podcaster. Yes, as my friend told, I'm a nerd who loves to read a lot of things. So, I'm a bibliophile. I love talking to techies, so that's where I created the podcast. A bibliophile, passionate about image data set. Yes, I want to become a computer vision data scientist as quick as possible. That's always in the pipeline. Now, of course, I'm exploring Azure cloud, and I'm working on many things which I really wanted to work on, and it's great. So, a brief intro about me. I studied in YouTube. Like, every day, it's YouTube that I just go back, learn. And I work at Devtron. It's my holy place where I really evolved and started as a community dude. So, that is my thing. So, back before 2013, it was all bare metal servers that we were improvising, deploying, and a lot of things were happening. And then we moved to the extraction of, okay, this is where we need a virtual machine, which is actually an effort to optimize more computer as quick as possible. And now Docker came in. So this is the timestamp that you can refer to. 2013 is the place where Docker started with, where Solomon Hayek saw these were the problem statement with Linux had, and he started putting in that efforts. And Kubernetes during the same era started moving from Borg and Omega. So even if you think today after 2013 and things like that, so serverless functions were always being thought, but they were about to get implemented. But everything today that I'm talking today is DevOpsified. DevOpsified ka matlab everything is automated. The moment I put my libraries, binaries, and an entire container image onto a server, that is made DevOpsified. And if you think about it, we have DevOpsified everywhere. Even if you are running something on a bare metal OS, it's still DevOpsified. So there's a lot of Azure that goes behind Service Fabric, container apps. This is Kubernetes engine, VM. There's a lot which goes on. So if can just go back to this slide, which has many things. So containers are very light. So to give you a present overview about anything, so let me just go to github.devron.com. This is my company's GitHub. So I think you guys can just go and check out amazing repositories, and there's a lot which is happening inside the Kubernetes cluster that is getting manipulated, that is getting eased out over a course of time. So this is how it is, and you can just see everything is happening here. But if you want to really understand what it is, so let me just go to my personal one. So let me just go to reactor file 12345. So it's a pretty famous repository which I always use for giving. So I did some Azure boards, and it's here for me. It's a crazy thing that I did. I just was doing a lot, and it just came out to me on here as well. So that's how it is. So just go here, download it as a zip file. That also works, or else you can just git clone it. So if you can see my command prompt here, I just do git clone, and I do this. It's cloning my repository, and I do cd reactor file, and I do ls. Whatever you are seeing here, readme.md2 was your pipelines YAML, that was already here. So it's just coming back to me, and basically, you still get everything about this repository is still there in front of you. So making the best deployed till. So I think there's a lot of things that goes behind when we load it. So don't worry about it. So if you just go here and type in index.html, it just goes out. So what I'll do is I'll just go to pwd, to user which was reactor file. That's perfect. So it's all right. Where is it? Applications, documentation, user Vishwas. So let me just go back to the finder so that we'll just get it. Or it's very simple. What we can do is show where is Vishwas. All right. I've lost so many things. Users. Okay. We can just do one thing. Just go to the downloads. We can just go to the archive. So if I just click on index.html right now, this has to be coming to me. That means it's working absolutely fine on my computer. Why is it not working on somebody else's computer? Should never be the complaint that you should be having. So let's say you search Vishwas Narayan and you type in search, it moves to an YouTube search and gives my channel. So you guys can go and subscribe to my channel as well. So that is how it is. And also, we didn't want to complain about it. So what we did was very simple. We, as a set of engineers, went out there, brainstormed, and put out the concept of containers. And if you see what really happens with this, it's also a simple thing. So it's all binaries and repositories. So in a similar way, there was a technology of VM that got introduced. That means a software stack of hypervisor got created onto a machine, and over that machine, everything related to the guest OS, the libraries, binaries were running. But they saw, okay, fine, you know what, this is also looking good, this is also looking good, but it's eating up so much of compute OS that host OS is taking too much time to load, to bootstrap, whatever it is. Back then people used to say we are ghosting a server for 1.5 day and we are just changing the OS, this and that, blah blah blah. But today it's a very lightweight material that we have, and it's something like binaries, libraries are coming into the picture, and your Docker engine is taking the place of hypervisor in the guest OS, and that means you're reducing the complexity that you have. So an entire server stack with a host OS, a Docker engine, a lot of things are happening. So what is a typical explanation and an example of a container is you're isolating a computer from a computer. That means anything that has to be running on a computer is getting isolated, and it's running over a computer. And what it is doing is it's behaving as an individual computer. That is what was happening, right? Your guest OS, libraries, binaries, application used to be one complete computer that is getting used, and now you have an entire container onto it. So if I do ls, there is something called as docker file. So if I do cat docker file, you can see that there is something called as from snipe.snipe.linux. That means whatever you are seeing here. All right, why is it not coming? So yes, so whatever you are seeing here as an host OS and everything is now happening onto your computer. That's fine. Now there's a Docker engine running. That means I can show you up in here. This is the Docker engine. Typically, when you start it, it doesn't come up. So if I do quit, just goes on, and if you can see the entire screen, it says, you know what, it's loading up, this is happening, that is happening. So a lot of things are happening. So here you can see that the entire Docker engine is not stable, and it's now going to a shutdown mode. So if I can roll back, the Docker entire Docker thing is gone here. So I just need to run it again. So or else I'll just click on to the icon which is there here, and it will start running. So that is how it is. So now it's going to log in. It's going to start a Docker engine. In a meanwhile, what it's doing is it's doing the job of an hypervisor. That means your VMware virtual box is now getting composed into a very small and a tiny chunk of in software, which is less complex to your compute and things like that. So this is what is happening. And if you look at everything, you're still doing the same Linux commands. I can't do back to basics Linux commands, but I can show you some. There's nothing called as app get update and upgrades in this one. So that's the whole point. So if I do multi-pass, I'll get an Linux, but we just have to just do it. So this is the command that you use when you are exposing the entire application, and now you are putting the entire software out for the world. And this is all something that is happening seamlessly. So let's go back and study all these things as students now. So to me, whenever I say, it's all about tutorials and things like that. So this is a repository that I have. So I think I'll share it with Koti, and he can start putting it over in the comment section out there, so that everything can be sorted out. All right. So I think you can make me full screen so that I can just turn off the video. Make it completely full screen. I think not this way, another way. Yeah, this makes
Yeah.
perfect, and I think you can remove this so that everybody can see the things. This one, this part. Go to the comment section, remove it. That's it, so that everybody can see what is happening down the screen. I think that's perfect. So I think make it full screen, so that makes a lot of sense. So now you typically had an entire ecosystem that is coming up. So what is Docker image, what is Docker engine, what is registries, we'll get to know in this thing. So a Docker image is just a composed form factor of all these commands as well as the files that I'm talking here. So if I can go to Docker engine, whatever you see in this screen is containers, Docker desktop, this and that, images, whatever it is. So it's all there for you right now. And if you look at what's happening here as a registry service, what's happening is this entire software is communicating with something called as Docker Hub. So if I go back here and say Docker Hub, so it's using an entire ecosystem right now, and this is where my sign-in credentials comes in. I have to sign in, good. I have to have a password, and I can't show you that. It's a very secret password, by the way. And this is where all my images are coming in. So this is what you call as Docker registry, and there are multiple registries out there, so you need not have to worry about anything and everything that's happening here. So let's just go on and do some research using our Docker documentation. First, what you have to do, Docker build. Else you can, there are some basic commands, we can just go through that. So if you just open, the moment you type Docker, I'll just do a clear screen so that everything is available to you. I think my screen is visible, right? Because most of the times what I get is the complaint is you just turn off everything. So
Yes,
if
yes,
I
it is
just type in
visible.
Docker,
It is visible.
yes, let's do it. So if you just type in Docker, there are a set of commands that pops up, and that is saying that your Docker host is running. If I just turn it off, it says Docker daemon is not connected. So what's a daemon? Daemon is a software stack that runs all the sub processes inside your machine. So if I just do this, it's working now. And if you can just do minus minus help, there are a lot of things which comes out, Docker stop, Docker info, Docker kill, and things like that. So if I do Docker images, sorry for the typo here. So it's very simple. You get to know what is the tag. That means which version, or else what is the latest tag that we are using. If it's latest tag, that means you are using the check version of the Docker image that you just have right now. That means you are not working on anything complex or anything. So I think I can show you one example of how a typical environment works, right? So Data Bricks by Vishwas.web.app. This is one of my blogs. You guys can go and check it. But I would suggest go for the notebooks rather than this entire thing. So there's a lot that you can learn from here. I think you can make the entire screen full screen so that it can be seen more prominent. So now if we can go here, running a job, and I just go and copy this command and paste it here. Guess what? It's now starting an entire environment for me, which is seamless. And I just go copy this URL, which is the communication path between the container, that is an isolated computer within my computer. It's very simple. I get an entire notebook environment which I have never installed. If I just type anything like Jupyter, there is nothing called as Jupyter coming. So Siri suggestion is coming, the Siri knowledge base it's coming, and these are some online things which are there. But if I click on it, it's not coming. Just see that I've not never installed it, but it's still running on my console, and you can still go ahead and do pip list. It's command enter here, so it says, "Oh God, you have installed so many packages." That means the the virtualized computer that I have right now is making sure that I have everything up and running here. So that is how it is. So this is how it works. This is how we are doing it. So now if I just do command C, and you can see that shut down the server, yes or no is the message that it requires for me to do it. And I type in command C, and I type in yes, everything is gone, and I am back to this. And if you can see what happened right now, the connection to the server is lost. That means the computer is not communicating with the computer. So this is where containers come into the picture. So let me just dismiss it. So now, how do we do it? It's very simple. Let's say if I was running any container, so docker run minus d minus p. That is obviously there, but I'll give you how to start building a containers and things like that. So docker build minus minus help, if you do with respect to the all the files and the docker file which is here. That means this is the definition of the system that is going, and I'm putting everything here. If I do docker build minus t is for tag, and I put a dot which says docker file is in this repository. I say let's do it in this way because you guys need to understand what is this. Vishwas slash Vishwas one, and I say Docker file is here. It will start building all the dependencies. That means it's grabbing all the file system from the internet, which is already there in the Docker, and it's building out a container for me. And I can't open a new terminal. That's the whole problem with this. So this is what you feel as a problem with your entire Mac. You can't open another terminal which is a PowerShell or something. So that's the whole problem of this Mac, which you can. But I'll show you. I'll wait till the process gets done and things like that. So what's happening here is it's fetching all the images. So what I told you with respect to the cat, if I just do cat here, and if I just do a Docker image and things like that, I think I'll just do cat. I just did cat here. It's taking the snake.snake slash Linux image. That is what it's doing. It's now taking all the images which is respect to the snake, and it's just getting to me up and running. So out of which app-get update is taking place. That means run app-get update. It's solid. It's now extracted the OS, and it's now fetching if there are some updates and upgrades from the snake team itself. So this is the ease that it brought on the table. That means everybody started loving Docker, and everybody started adapting it. So whatever I refer to, the snake slash Linux, and it's taking from the latest image, and it's now taking every little component of it. So think about it. So if you had to do it for every machine, and it used to take a lot of time, and it's a waste of time for me. So now what is happening is it's updated, upgraded, perfect, and it's installing nginx, because even if you do apt-get install nginx, you need to type in yes. So this is a Linux shortcut for saying yes. So that is what is happening. So it's now taking every little bytes and pieces of the same old nginx image that we have right now. And what it's just doing is very simple. I feel so jealous of this machine because it has an access to an entire computer. And now if you just say Docker images, it says that Vishwas/Vishwas 1 was created 5 seconds ago, and it's a byte size of 254 MB. That's absolutely fine. And I'll show you one more magic here, because Docker run -d, because I want to see what is happening with this image that I built. That means a virtual computer that I built on my computer. So what I'll do is Docker run -d is saying run it in a detached mode. I don't want something to happen like a previous program. That means it was in an interactive mode. Even if you, I'll go back to the command so that you guys can see it. So it was an interactive mode. That means, okay, why is it not coming? It's it's all right. Come on. Yeah, it's okay. So what you can see is Docker run -it -p, and it's saying use the port from the computer, use the port from the containers, which is the same, and from this image, which is already put in the Docker registry. That means it's a virtual repository which contains every little detail about your computer that has to be working onto your system. So I didn't want that. I am saying detach it, run it in a background. I don't want anything to be happening on the command prompt. -t, I'm saying it's a toggle mode. Even if I try closing it any times, any number of times onto a computer, do not shut down, run as a sub process. That means just run as a computer inside a computer. -p 80 is to 80. I'm saying that use a port of 80 from the container, use the port of 80 from the local computer, that is this MacBook. And now I'm saying Vishwas and Vishwas 1, and let's just copy and paste it. And detected host platform, requested image platform does not match the host platform. All right, it's not a problem because it's already taking too much time. So if I can go here and I say images and the containers which are up and running, it's already, oh, it's already too much of a thing for this one. Only running containers. All right, it's not taking because it's not a version that is already there. So what we can do is Docker run -d -p -p Vishwas Narayana re/Vishwas. -p has to be a representation of the port, so let's not bury that anywhere. So let's do one thing. Let's do 80 cross 80. So it is not able to find an image locally. That means it searched for a computer named Vishwa slash Vishwas and it was not available. So what it's doing now is it's just going back and looking forward to fetching all these images right now. So it's now fetching the information of for a computer that has to be sitting inside my computer, and it's now downloading it, and it's perfect. It's absolutely fine because this is an ARM chipset. That means it's a very lightweight chipset, and we can't say go and run everything that is there, and it doesn't make any sense here. So if you can go and check all the other things, it's in use. But let's say I want to run it, I can go and run it on my system here as well. So it's up and running. That's cool. In use, and if I say where is it running, open in terminal, pause, restart, view details. It's saying that it's already running in the path has been stats are already there. Memory usage is so minimal. That means instead of using an entire 8 gigs of RAM, which is already in my computer, it's already up and running. So in a meanwhile, it's very simple as well. So if I do docker ps minus a, it says how many system information is running. And even if you see Vishwas Naran slash Vishwas latest is running, and if I just go right now, I can see this image is running here. So localhost 80, and tada, whatever I clicked onto my computer, it's still working here. So this is where Docker comes into the picture. So whatever the process I told about build, deploy, and putting it onto a computer, it's all there in front of me right now. So in fact, you can still see a lot. In fact, you can just go out there, open a terminal onto it, and I can say uname minus a. It still says it's using Linux Kit, SMTPs, and it's using an GNU version, general version of it. And if I do ls, it just comes here, and I'll show you one of the magic here. And reactor file is here. So if I can go to the Docker file, I'm saying copy everything to variable www slash html. So if I go to the Docker, all right, I just need to zoom in, or else is there a zoom option available? I don't think so. There's a zoom option available. So if I do ca var, if I do ls, it's showing me some amount of file system. If I do www, says ls, it says html. See the magic here. So whatever that container was running, it's still there for me right here. So if I do cd html and I do cat index.html, you can see that everything that I've written here is there running for me. That means this is a portal that is giving you debuggability access as well. So instead, what we could have done a docker exec minus it Vishwas slash Vishwas one. Alright, so is it the same container name that I have put in? Oh, sorry, I copied something else. So I think I need to go back here and fetch out what is happening here. I think I can do it. If not, if there is an error, don't worry. Exec minus it container slash bin slash bash. Alright, it's not coming. That's okay. Docker exec IT bash. If I just go here and I can say what is happening here. So what I can do is we can have an interactive way of doing it. Docker exec minus I, and even if you look at what's an option here, minus minus name container minus d minus I is interactive mode slash t. So let's do it. in this way of Docker images, which I can put it in this way, slash build slash bash. Ach. I do this. Oh, what's this
Uh,
containers?
Actually, the image name is different, I guess. Viswas and Viswas slash Viswas one, I guess.
No, I put this image here because it's already running. So I think probably that is the mistake. It's not a problem, we can do Docker ps minus a. So I can do this. So okay, it's already exited. Okay, which are the containers which are running? So there are no logs, so there are images, so there are containers, which is one which is running. Okay, I got this. So what I'll do is we'll just take from here only instead of just going back. Okay, we can do something called as latest. That's not a problem. So sometimes even tag slash minus I. You can't do detach, but I can do I. Okay, but exec minus IT should work, but it's not a problem. Whatever I showed here will obviously be happening. In fact, if you don't get it, don't worry. Why do we do it? SH has to be done. Sorry for that. So it's SH, right? Shell script. Why is it not
Uh,
coming?
no, Vishwas, what you are giving image name, but you need to provide the container name, right?
Yes, wait. Image name, container name, क्या कर लिया मैंने? Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, let's do a container name because this is the sub process, right? Reverend
Yes.
Wilbur. Reverend Wilbur. Okay, that's that. Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay, I hope this doesn't come out to be slash bash syntax error unexpected
SSU is not required, I guess.
slash and slash bash. All right. I think this should be up and running, or else it will obviously take a toll on my computer because this is an ARM chipset. That's fine. But whatever I showed here will be the function of the terminal that you just got an access to. So if you just do cd cd dot dot because I did it twice and I put pwd, what's my working repository? It's still saying this is not the thing that I really wanted to give. So it doesn't give you that amount of flexibility. That means you can't do C whatever you did on your computer, like plus plus karne mein, it doesn't work. So this is what the entire system was all about. So I'll just do control C so that it doesn't take up my computer and it doesn't make my system hang. So to an extent, whatever we just taught here is just to build a container, do some sub processes, this and that. All these things are fine. But let's say I want to go and run it on a container. This is service in Azure called as container instance. So basics of Azure is already done. So don't worry about it. So I'll just show you how it is. So whatever I am doing on my localhost Haiti port has to be working internet. All right. Okay, this is a very old account. So there were many containers which were working. So let's not figure that out. So if you just go to container instance, what I'll do is I'll just show you how it's easy to create a container instance here. So subscription is there. So there's a resource group which is already given, and there's Vishwas Narayana container demo. And I don't want to use any other container, so it's Vishwas Narayana RE slash Vishwas. Generally, I use that container itself, so It doesn't keep anything up for me. And I want it to run on a Linux OS system. That means whatever the commands that I've given. Okay, let me just go to cd reactor file and I do cat docker file. Okay, it's cat docker file. You can see that all these commands are up and running on a Linux system. Let's say you have something as an .NET application. So a .NET application requires all these things. So I'll just review and create so that we don't waste any much more time. So you can see that it's already an environment, which is a computer, which is initialized for me, and it's up and running for me. So I think everything is getting created, everything is getting submitted. I think probably I should have done one container, but let's wait for a while so that you can understand what is happening here. So whatever this thing that started working on my computer has to be working internationally. This is intranet. I think probably it has to be on the internet. So it's an intranet service. That means the computer which is in my computer is running everything. That means a snake slash Linux is not even on my computer, but it's still running on my computer. That means it's an individual computer on its own. So let's keep refreshing it. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe. If my bandwidth is good, it will just happen. Exit came. So this is what you should be expecting, or else if there is something as an missing error out there, this is what it should be coming. That's perfect. It's already up and running for me. So if I just go and click on this IP address, which I am able to find here, you will be able to grab this entire system, which is working up for me. Just like this, it will go and work for me the same way there as well. I think probably we need to wait for some time. Still, we start getting some requests, and you can see that it's still running on the image which I told. It's saying which is the standard network, and everything is up and running for me. So in a similar way, by the time this starts getting loaded, I think I don't want to waste any more time because time is precious. So let's say I want to go ahead, I want to build it on a container apps or something. It's very easy today. So Docker container, let's say it's Linux plan. Okay, it's not available for me in here. India, if I do, it should be in Central India. Okay, so it's internationally available to you as well. So Koti, I'll give you the link now. Just go and hit on this and share your screen so that everybody can see it. So just go click on this. It's internationally available. That means it's working on this port, it's that port. And the fun fact about it is it really works as the same way that it worked on a computer. Instead of doing local host, you just get an IP. That means your computer now has an IP. And a fun fact, you can still play around with the same way. Whatever I do ping google.com, teach me what is the IP, this and that. So if I just cut it down, you can see that there's an IP, right? If I can just do same old thing here and I can say this, it can't resolve, but let's put this as one of the IPs. So it's pinging, it's timed out, blah blah blah, but it's still happening. So what's happening here is your internet is defined with one computer here, and what's happening here is you're still going back to google.com itself. I put this 100 times, it still goes back to the DNS. That means this IP is already registered with google.com's domain and it's using it. What's running beneath your google.com is also still a container. So let's not waste any time. Let's just go and grab some plans and we can start figuring out what's happening here. So there are different options. That's absolutely fine. There is literally everything available. What I have to do is next I have to click on Docker and I have to say I don't want a Docker Compose. I have Docker Hub and I say Vishwas Narayana Ari slash Vishwas. And there's no startup command that I have and nothing. So if I just do review and create, okay, the basics, I think probably I missed it out. The name. Vishwas container app demo and see the magic here. So it was just scanning through the entire internet of Azure within the, I think probably you can say intranet of Azure, and it's communicating and saying, is there a same similar name which is already given? So if it's there, you can't create it. So you can create your own now, and it's the same image which I had, which is just getting created in front of you, and everything is getting sorted. So let's not let's not jump to a conclusion. So it now is rigging up an entire compute component for me. That's the power of cloud computers today. So they are coming out and saying the computer, we are putting this entire computer onto your computer. So let's go ahead and grab this thing. So in a meanwhile, let's just keep rigging up. So if you just can go to the new Azure portal, I can show you what's happening inside the resource browser as well. So for those of you who are very new to it, it's actually a virtual repository which contains all your services. So an entire container instance is one instance which is up and running for you. That's absolutely perfect. And ASP.NET Sandbox is already created for you. That means this is actually the resource where entire computer is being rigged up. So if I just go to the resource here and I click on this website, it's up and running. That means whatever that worked on your computer is working finely and absolutely good onto a cloud environment as well. I think, but you can click on these two IPs. I think I will stop my share screen. You just share your screen and rig up this entire compute. So what can happen is everybody can see, okay, this is working on both of their systems. So you can share your
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, yes, yes. I'll share my screen. So yeah, so you can see my screen, right? So this is the, yeah. You can explain this thing.
I think did you click on both the links, the IP and as well as this one?
Yes, yes. This is the IP.
And the other one is the Azure website, right? So this is
Yes,
what,
yes.
this is where containers are all about. So if you really want an whole new perspective of it, you can take the boilerplate repo that I'm giving here, so you can share it in this one. And also you can just go to my repository and type in the Docker tutorial files here. So you can grab everything here. So you can grab everything that I've been talking about. I think you can stop the share screen. I think people have seen it. Not a problem. It's working for him, it's working for me, and it's working for everybody in the world. So anybody in the world can click onto it. I think probably after this session, I'm going to remove the container instance and everything out there. So you guys can
Yes.
access it. But what I was explaining is you can learn Docker in 1 hour for sure. Sorry for that. But what you can really learn is how to actually embrace the fact that you can also still install something new on your computer and start working. So that's how it is. So that's it, my friends. If you have any doubts, queries, and questions, reach back to me. I'll help you with your Docker journey, Kubernetes. I work for an institution. I think if my finger points out right way, I work for an institution which works on Kubernetes every single day, and you can really go and listen to anything and everything that I talk about Kubernetes, containers, and everything. So thank you so much, folks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Viswas. With that, right? I will I'll have a couple of questions that I'll know put in front of you, so that we have can have a quick discussion on that, so that no, we can end up the session. So first thing, right?
Yeah.
Like as you have already mentioned, so it is not like 1 hour job. Like you can't learn everything about Docker in 1 hour. So what will be the no approach to learn Docker? So basically, you can share your experience, how you started Docker, and like how you suggest others to get started with Docker. So that will be helpful.
So yeah, see, it's all about like learning from a story. Learn from a story rather than just going and learning blatantly about this is happening, that is happening. Nobody wants to hear your story until it's actually has made an impact. So what I did was very simple. I went to the people from the industry. I went back to them. I asked them the question like, you know what? This is how you are using. This is how I have learned containers, and what are the things that is required. And whatever I showed is the everyday work of an engineer who's working behind the containers using Docker or any other platform. There is Rocket. There's Docker. A lot of things. So even if you see whatever the container instance that I showed, there's something called as container registry. It still works the same way. It still uses Docker engine. It authenticates using Docker credentials, which is their own username, their own passwords, and things like that. And everything is up and running smooth for you. Like entire world is running
Okay.
Docker. Entire world is running on containers, and not just that. Today if you can see where the standard of containers is, containers are everywhere. They are like mini computers onto your computer, so they really wanted that feel and look and feel of that, so everybody started working towards it.
We
So that
also
is what
see, right? We
always
Yeah, yeah.
approach. Uh,
Yes, yes.
that
So
is where
sorry.
you need to start approach. Ask industry professional where is it used, what do you use every single day. Grab the knowledge base from them, and I think that is where you always learn a lot from people, from their processes, from their education. That's how it is.
Yes. So that is one thing, and like you no, like you already mentioned, there are not only one this talk. So there are couple more talks which are coming from Viswas. This is related to
I think
Kubernetes and
I think
Kubernetes
I'll do one
security.
complete on Azure containers only, so don't worry about it.
Yes, yeah, we'll be happy to host you on our channel. So yeah, we'll
Thank
like
you
you
so
said, we'll do a series, complete series. And thank you so much. Like we know we're running out of a busy schedule. In this busy schedule also you have given us slot and shared
much.
your valuable knowledge with us.
Knowledge and insights that I have. Only some
Yes.
insights.
Yeah.
But I think if
Yes.
you really want to understand an entire container ecosystem, I did something as a basic talk. I think you can just share this talk with people in the comment section so that everybody can understand. Okay, this is what which was talked
Obviously,
about
yes.
on the containers, this and that. I'll share you some messages on the WhatsApp, so you can just compile it and put it in your this one. What do you call the
Comment
comment section?
section. Yes.
So
Sure.
that's how it is.
Definitely. Yes.
Let's go ahead, my friend. I think we have a lot to learn, lot to grow. And peace out, my friends. Next session will be on Docker in an advanced fashion where I'll be doing an end-to-end rigging up. And of course, followed by that next hour, I'll be doing a session on starting with Helm charts so that it gives you more introduction to how to enter Kubernetes infrastructure. So thank you so much, folks. Thank you so much,
Thank you
mate.
so much. Thank you so much, Vishwas. Yes.